When I started freelancing back in 2019, I didn't know much about freelancing. I didn't even know about virtual assistants back then. And so I made a lot of mistakes that prevent me from finding my first client. I did a lot of trial and error until I figure out my mistakes, and I figure out how to fix my mistakes and find my first client and my second client until I discovered virtual assistants. And when I started virtual assistants, I am engaged in online communities, in online virtual assistant communities. And so if a potential client reach out to me with a project and I don't have enough time to take on the project, I try to find some new virtual assistant and connect them to the potential client. And I notice some mistake also that most new virtual assistants make when I talk to them, when I wanted to link them to a potential client. And so based on the mistakes that I personally made and the mistakes that I see some new virtual assistant are making, I pick out the 5 most common mistakes, and I'm going to share them with you in this video, and also how to not make those mistakes so that you can find your first client fast. Okay, the very first most common mistake that could prevent you from finding your first client is having mistakes in your portfolio or having a wrong portfolio. Your portfolio can be your freelancer profile, your virtual assistant profile on Upwork or Fiverr or freelancer.com. And you can also create a portfolio website in something like Canva, and you can also have your portfolio in a PDF. So there are many places to have your portfolio. And the most common mistake that I see is having wrong portfolio and a lot of mistakes in a portfolio. For example, there was one client reached out to me and they want me to create some social media graphics for them on a continuous basis. And so I reached out to one of my friends. It's my Facebook friend. I reached out to them. I didn't know them personally, but I know them in an online community, and asked them to send me their portfolio so that I can connect them to the potential client. And when they send me their portfolio, they have the portfolio in a PDF format, and it's a 2-page portfolio. It doesn't really look like a portfolio. It looks like a resume. And I am sending it to a client who need a graphic, someone to create a graphics for social media, and the graphics on the portfolio are all wrong. Some text are out of the box, some images are not the right size, and the portfolio is all over the place. So there is no way someone who is looking for a virtual assistant to be creating graphics for them to consider someone who has that kind of portfolio. And there is another virtual assistant that I asked for their portfolio. They shared a link to Fiverr, and I check it out. The description they have is just like, I think, 4 lines. That's all it is. And the profile image they have it looks like a group picture, and they just crop themselves out. So they didn't even put enough effort into having a nice picture on their portfolio. They didn't even put enough time to write a good description of the services that they are offering as a virtual assistant. So how can they be considered if they have that kind of a wrong portfolio? So this is a very first mistake that I see most new virtual assistants make, having a wrong and mistakes in their portfolio. So in order to avoid this mistake, wherever you choose to host your portfolio, as a complete beginner, I recommend you have your portfolio on a freelancing platform, either Upwork or Fiverr. So wherever you choose to have your portfolio, make sure your portfolio is complete and make sure you set it up right. Regarding the text, you can use ChatGPT to help you write a description. And when I say use ChatGPT, don't just generate a generic text on ChatGPT. Make sure you write a unique and interesting introduction and have a full introduction. You don't have to write an essay, but make sure you write an introduction that can be called an introduction. A 3 lines is not an introduction. Maybe a short introduction, but it's not enough. So make sure you write a good introduction and you set up your whole portfolio right. And in order to avoid any grammatical error, you can use something like Grammarly and proofread any text that you have on your portfolio before you make it live. I recently did a video on how to create a portfolio as a new freelancer. Virtual assistant is all the same. So you can watch that video and it will guide you on how to create a right portfolio as a complete beginner to virtual assistants. Okay, the second mistake that I see most new virtual assistants make is setting their rate too low. You think because you are completely new, you are going to win with a low price. And that is not completely true. Because if an average price freelancer's charge is $10 per hour, and if you said, okay, you are going to charge $3 per hour, then me as a client, I am going to feel uncomfortable with the quality of work that you are going to deliver. So keep this in mind. Setting the lowest price is probably not going to help you get client. It might allow you to find client, but it will not help you find a good client, because someone who is looking for a reliable virtual assistant are not necessarily looking for the lowest price. They are looking most likely for an average price with a quality work. So setting your price too low is not going to help you in your freelancing career, in your virtual assistant career. Okay, the next common mistake that I see new virtual assistants make that is preventing them from finding a client is writing a generic proposal. Your proposal is is the first line of communication between you and your potential client, and that is what will even start a conversation between you and your potential client. So if you write a generic proposal, you will not stand out. There are several times that I posted a job on Upwork and Fiverr and find a virtual assistant or a freelancer for one of my clients, and this is something that I see over and over again. Most new virtual assistants, they write a generic proposal that they will just copy and paste to any project that they are sending the proposal to, and you will know it's a generic proposal when you read it, because there is nothing related to the job that they mention. So as a complete beginner, writing a generic proposal is definitely going to stop you from finding clients. I know everybody uses ChatGPT, and it will not be a good idea to not use ChatGPT, but you shouldn't rely on ChatGPT to write your proposal. You can use ChatGPT to help you make your proposal better, but you shouldn't rely on it to write the entire proposal for you, because someone like me who know ChatGPT, who read many proposals, as soon as I read something from ChatGPT, I know it comes from ChatGPT. And if you send a ChatGPT written proposal to your client, and when they know it comes from ChatGPT, then you didn't even put enough effort into writing a proposal. You can't even put an effort into writing a proposal. Then that will be not a good sign for the potential client. So avoid writing a generic proposal. For any job that you are sending your proposal to, make sure you read the job description carefully and you write a proposal relevant to that unique job description. I also recently did a video on how to write a winning proposal as a new virtual assistant. So you can watch that video and learn how to write a winning proposal as a complete beginner. Okay, the next mistake that I see many new virtual assistants make is having no sample project, having no sample work. When you are completely new to virtual assistant, you haven't completed any jobs. You don't have anything to show that will prove you know what you are doing. So if you send your proposal, even if you know how to write a winning proposal, when you send it to your potential client and they are interested, when they check out your portfolio, then whatever you said, there is no sample, nothing to show that you can do what they want. So even if the proposal is right, your portfolio is right, they will still feel uncomfortable with hiring you. So that is why you need to have sample project on your portfolio. A sample project is just, if you want to become a graphic designer, you just sit down and create a graphic, create some graphics as if a client hire you to create the graphics for them, and then you include those graphics on your portfolio, so that that project is going to be like a sample, like this is what you can do for a client, so that when they check out your portfolio, they can see that this is what you can do for them. So having no sample project is going to stop you from finding your first client fast. Okay, the next mistake that could prevent you from finding your first client is going after the wrong jobs. It doesn't matter if you write the winning proposal and you have the best portfolio, you have the right sample project. If you go after the wrong jobs, then even if you send 100 proposals, you are not going to get the job. So you need to make sure you apply for jobs that you have a good chance of getting. And a few things to keep in mind is, before you send your proposal, make sure you read the job description and you understand it, because a client might mention that they are looking for a virtual assistant who speaks more than one language. Example, who speak English and Spanish. And if you don't speak Spanish, then it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you do, you are not going to get the job. And some client will specify that they are looking for a virtual assistant in a specific country. And if you send your proposal, if you are not living in that country, then you just wasted your time. And also some client might specify that they are looking for an expert virtual assistant. And if they specify that they are looking for an expert, You as a complete beginner, if you send your proposal, you just wasted your time because you are not going to get the job and you will be competing with expert virtual assistant. So going after the wrong jobs is going to prevent you from finding your first client fast. I also have a video where I showed how you can apply for jobs the right way on Upwork. So if you choose to use Upwork, you can watch that video and learn how to apply for jobs the right way. Those are the 5 mistakes that could prevent you from finding your first virtual assistant client fast. If you find this video helpful, please give it a like. Also, don't forget to subscribe to this channel and I will see you in the next video.